All right, so today's trapezoids, and notice, well, there's two types of trapezoids. So when a quadrilateral is not just a quadrilateral, then you ask yourself if it is a parallelogram. If it's a parallelogram, you have to determine if it's a parallelogram just by itself or if it's a rectangle, a rhombus, or a square. That's where we are right now, and that is, referring back to that family tree. Okay? So if you're over here on this branch, if it's a parallelogram, you have to figure out if it's any one of these as well. Okay? You can't just stop at parallelogram. You have to double check. So quadrilateral is not a parallelogram, so now you have to ask yourself if it's a trapezoid or a kite. If it is a trapezoid, you have to find out if it is isosceles or not. Okay? So, trapezoid is not a parallelogram. It is still a quadrilateral. Okay? And we need our little straight edge because we're going to draw some diagonals here. And we're actually going to draw another trapezoid out to the side. And before we take our test, I am going to go back over this with you and just double check that we have talked about extra things, that making sure everybody's got the extra stuff, including things like Pythagorean theorem and all that kind of stuff. All right, so there's that. But that is this kind of trapezoid. So over here, regular trapezoids, you might have a trapezoid that looks like that. Maybe instead of being a right angle right there, maybe it's just barely angled. Okay, that might look like that. All right. And this information up here is just like all trapezoids, and especially these, okay? So once you draw your little parallel lines here, okay? So one, let me use the color here. Only one pair of opposite sides are parallel. Only one pair. And you can see that right here with my little arrows. Okay? Consecutive interior angles, that would be those ones that are same side interior. So if you don't like the word consecutive, you can use same side interior. Those are supplementary. What does that mean? It means they add up to 180, right? Okay, so this angle here and that angle there, those two angles right there that I just notated, they add up to 180. These two over here, these green ones, add up to 180. Okay? In a regular trapezoid, the opposite angles, the diagonal, across from each other angles, are not congruent. You have to look at your consecutive angles. And then we have something called a median. A median is a line that cuts the trapezoid in half So see that little blue line that I drew? I think I am going to redo this for next year, and I'm going to add regular trapezoids so you guys aren't having to draw them. Okay, so the median, you're going to have to add the top and the bottom together, which means the top plus the bottom, you know, the two parallel pieces, and then you're going to divide by 2. That's what this means right here. 1/2 of base 1 plus base 2. It means top plus bottom, divide by 2. Okay? And then you can do this, 2 times your median equals top plus bottom. And this version right here is what I would use if I'm finding the top or the bottom, you know, the base 1, base 2. If I was finding one of those, I would use this version here. It's easier to work. If I'm finding the median, I'm going to use that version there. It is the same equation, I just rearranged it. Okay? All right, so that's all trapezoids in the universe, every single one. Now, once you find out you have a trapezoid, okay, you have to ask yourself, is it isosceles? Kind of like that, but wait, there's more kind of idea, right? So isosceles trapezoids, okay, diagonals are congruent, okay, and they don't bisect each other. They are congruent, which means if this piece is 10, that piece is 10, okay, and these bottom portions are congruent to each other. The entire thing is congruent to the entire thing, but they do not they don't bisect each other. They're just congruent. So these top pieces are the same, the bottom pieces are the same. Okay? Your legs, those are the non-parallel. Non-parallel. The legs are congruent. Okay, so what that means is that that side of the trapezoid and this side of the trapezoid are congruent. Let's go ahead and mark our parallel lines. So these are parallel. They're not congruent. Okay. And then your base angles are congruent. If you, I'm going to do something with my pencil. You don't have to do it. But if you were to go like this, what kind of triangle did I just make? An isosceles trapezoid, right? So my base angles, this entire angle here and this entire angle here are the same. Which means this entire angle and this entire angle will be the same because these two angles have to add to 180. Okay? So a red and a blue angle add to 180. Okay? So if these are the same, and then consecutive are 180, when I subtract that number from 180, I get this, and that means it has to be the same thing on the other side. If you want, like this piece here and this piece here are congruent. Do you understand, like each little piece of each angle, like they have a matching partner on the other side over there? Okay, so you can color code those if you want. All right, your opposite angles are supplementary. Let's write that down. Opposite, actually, and your same side interior. Okay, I think that's all. Let's see, non-parallel sides are congruent, diagonals are congruent, they don't bisect each other, the base angles are congruent, opposite angles are supplementary, same side interior are supplementary. That's for an isosceles trapezoid. But all of this stuff up here is still true. One pair, parallel, your median, all of that. So everything's the same, and then we just add a little bit more for isosceles. Okay, so then let's go to our little packet. There it is. Very quickly. Where are we at now? What page? Okay, so on 7, you can see all of that. And a lot of these are pretty straightforward. Before you do anything, this is asking for K and M. Okay, so just remember that like this angle and this angle have to add to 180, correct? Same side interior. You guys agree? Okay. And then over here, that one, this is why I like drawing the little tick marks on the arcs instead of that. These two would have to add to 180. Okay, so there's a hint for angles. And that will, 1 and 2 are going to be the same. Is that enough of a hint for angles for those? Is this enough of a hint? Okay. So then let's look at this. Oh, kind of the same thing, right? What do these have to add up to? These have to add up to 180. What do these have to add to? 180. Okay. Now, these down here are isosceles. Okay. Do they not have numbers on here? Okay, we're going to put a pause on these two right here, and I'm going to look something up because I think there's some missing information. Is that just me? Yeah? Oh, it's just asking. Okay, I thought it was asking us to solve. Wow, thank you. Not enough coffee yet. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Good job. Okay, so you're right. You know what? I am going to own that mistake because that is absolutely what would happen on a test with a student. These are congruent symbols. So we're just listing what is congruent to what. Okay. Thank you for helping me remember. These, do you see the little M and then the equal sign? Like these, we're actually finding the numbers. Okay. So moving on. Okay, this last part right here. Okay, I'm almost done, so bear with me, guys. Okay, median or mid-segment of your trapezoid. Okay, one document called it a median, this document calls it a mid-segment. That's the same thing. Okay, so what you need to know is that EF equals, and I'm going to write it like this, AB plus DC divided by 2. That's the easiest way to work that. I know some of you, when you see a 1/2, you kind of get nervous because it's a fraction, but you're just dividing by 2. Now, if I take my 2 and I multiply it by EF, I'm going to get AB plus DC, and then you can subtract whichever one you already know to get the number you do not know. You won't know one of these. You'll know this, and you'll know one of these. Okay? So I'm going to do one of each of those real quick. I'm going to do 1 and 3. I'm going to show you how it works, and then I'm going to let you take over. Everybody got it? Okay. So, again, please, every single question you do, label, label, label. That's how you're going to be super successful. So AB is a 14. DC is a 26. We have to find FE. Everybody got that? Okay, so my mid-segment, my median, is going to be 14 plus 26, and we will divide by 2. And then you can just put that in a calculator. If you use parentheses, you can actually type the entire thing in at one time. 14 plus 26 inside parentheses, then you can just hit divide by 2. It looks like what's on your paper. They match. And you get a 20. Okay, so FE is equal to 20. That's how you find the middle. Okay, now this one right here, and I think I saw a few of you are kind of like, I don't know what you mean by that. If I take this 2 and I multiply this side by 2 and this side by 2, I'm going to get this, and then that 2 under here is going to go away. So it says that EF is 22. It says that DC is 38, and we're looking for AB. Now, whether you're looking for the top or the bottom does not matter. Everybody got it? So I'm going to do 2 times 22. 2 times my median. And that's going to equal 38 plus X. You okay with that? Okay, so then we're going to have 44. And that's going to equal 38 plus X. What are we going to do with 38? Subtract it. Very good. So we get 6. So that means that AB equals 6. That's how you do that. Okay? So your job is to do all of the trapezoid part, and you do have 3 mid-segment pieces. Okay? So you're going to do this piece here. And this piece here. All right, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, you have 15. Some are very quick. Some will take you a minute. You probably can get the majority of this done before you leave. That also gives you more time this evening to work on parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, and square portions if you are still behind on that. Please know that you're having a quiz tomorrow. Okay? And then we're going to do kites. All right, there we go.